Alright, well, it's been an awful long time since I've posted a video, and actually it's been a while since I've flown too. Actually, I flew just 2 days ago, but I didn't have cameras with me then. I just did a couple of landings and kind of just got my air legs again. Today I'm going to fly out to Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. It's been a while since I've been there. It's the town my wife grew up in. It's about an hour flight each way. I have filed with flight service, and looks like it's going to be a pretty good flight. Maybe a little tiny bit bumpy, maybe a little bit of wind, but it should be good. Alright, going to do my run up here. The door's closed and latched. Flight controls are free, and they are correct. Set my flight instruments. Field altitude is 460 feet above sea level. We're pointing at about 220 degrees north. My directional indicator to 220 degrees north. Mixture. Flight instruments are set. Fuel shutoff is on. Mixture's full rich. Elevator trim set for takeoff. Throttle up to 1700. Check the magnetos left first. Good. Right. Good. Check carburetor heat. Should see a little bit of a drop in RPM as well. We do. Good. Engine instruments. Got positive amps on the ammeter, and suction is in the green. Got a helicopter landing out here in front of us. Pretty cool. Alright, flashing beacon is on. Alright, looks good. I go ahead and open my flight plan now. Been filed already. Flight service has a pretty cool website. It's 1-800-WEATHER-BRIEF, WX Brief, so 1-800-WXBrief.com. You can log in there, file your flight plan right on the internet, and you can actually open your file plan as well. That's what I'll do. Go ahead and start it up. I filed for an hour. It should take me a little bit less than an hour.
Area Fallston 76 Sierra Hotel, runway 22, on the go, southbound departure. Area Fallston.
Okay, says my flight plan is active. Fallston traffic, Cessna 48753, back taxi 22 Fallston. Winds are supposed to increase a little bit this afternoon. And it looks like they're calling for pretty much a straight crosswind for me as I come back. Alright, fuel takeoff checks. Fuel's on, flaps are set to 10 degrees, mixture is full rich, not lean, full rich, all the way in. Carb heat is off, pushed all the way in. And my elevator trim is set for takeoff. Turn on my landing light. Make a radio call. Also traffic, Cessna 753 departing 22. We'll head to the north, actually to the northwest on the downwind, Fallston. Power's in the green. Airspeed's coming alive already. That's good. Means we got a little bit of wind in our face. There's 40. There's
Area
50.
Fallston 76 Sierra Hotel, 2,000 feet, southbound runway 22, southbound departure 1,000 feet, area Fallston.
Positive altitude gain, and I'm above the obstacles. Raise the flaps 10 degrees. Fallston traffic 753 is on left crosswind 22, Fallston. Fallston traffic 753 is departing the pattern from the downwind, left turn downwind 22, left turn to the west, Fallston. Well, I filed for 2,500 feet. I think I'm going to have to climb what looks like that puts me right into some clouds ahead of me. Might be the first time I've actually flown over clouds before, but they look like just a short little layer of them. Go ahead and climb over these guys.
Lake County traffic, 3BT is about 5 to the southeast. We'll be entering on a 45 for a downwind for 26 Lake County.
And lead traffic 24787 is 3 miles out on the RNAV A for 30 lead.
Miles landing, Ingleside, Maryland. Automated advisory. Wind calm. Miles landing.
Farmers Ride traffic turning left downwind for 28, so we'll be landing on 10, making left traffic for 10. 787. Corman traffic, this is the mall, base leg 34. Corman.
Ingleside, Maryland.
I've just leaned out my mixture a little bit here, but since I'm climbing, I got to be careful with that. I don't want to get too much. As you're climbing, your airspeed drops a little bit, which means it's not getting as much air to cool down the motor. Engine, I guess, is the right term. And if you lean the mixture too much, you're not starving the engine, but it doesn't have the cooling effect of the evaporating fuel. So you run the risk of overheating your engine if you're climbing and you're leaned out too much as well. So keeping an eye on my oil temperatures. They've gone up probably, I don't know, when I took off they were probably around 150 degrees. Now they're probably up to about 200. Pull back the throttle a little bit now that I'm up at altitude. I'm going to clear those clouds with enough space. I'm supposed to have 1,000 feet above the clouds and 500 feet below the clouds. I'm now above them, so I am about 1,000 feet above them.
CVT is downwind, 26, Montana.
Just a small little layer of clouds too. They're like a couple of really short little walls I got to climb over, and then I should be good. Go ahead and take a look at my arrival airport here. November 6th, 8th, Franklin County.
Farmers Pride Mall, left base, 10, Farmers Pride.
If it's 04, sorry, 06 and 24. My assumption is that I'm going to be landing on 22 because or 24 because I left on 22 at Fallston. Obviously, I'm about an hour's flight away, so that could be completely off. But I'll fly over the airport either way. The direction I'm going, I have to fly over the airport, just because of the patterns at Franklin County. It's left traffic if you're landing 06 and right traffic if you're landing 24.
3777 Whiskey, approaching from the west for touch and go runway 77 Whiskey. 77 clear at 3. Chambersburg County, what's your active runway this morning? Gettysburg Regional, hitting 377 Whiskey, entering downwind for 24. Gettysburg.
So I'm currently flying in basically a western direction, my heading. And
traffic, this is the mall, base leg 34.
what you got to watch out for is your correct altitude as you're flying, depending on where you are in the compass. Anything from, I think it's, I've got a little chart here on my knee board. So anything from 0 to 179 degrees in terms of your heading, you need to be flying at an odd number of thousands of feet plus 500. So it could be, 3,500, 5,500, 7,500, whatever. Since I'm heading in a western direction, so anywhere between 180 and 359, which is the zone that I'm in, needs to be an even 1,000 plus 500. So I'm currently flying at 4,500, which is an even, obviously 4 is even. I had originally filed for 2,500, but that would put me right in the middle of those clouds. Looked like the bases were right around 2,500 feet. So I'm now flying over these clouds at 4,500. And again, I have to have a certain amount of clearance above the clouds, and I think the reason they have that is because if there's clouds kind of farther off in the horizon that are higher than where you are, you want to have aircraft be able to see you. So I'm flying at about 1,000 feet over this bank of clouds here in front of me. It's just an estimate. I'm not really sure what the tops are here. But I figure if the bottoms are at 2,500 and I'm flying 2,000 feet over that, I should be clear of them. And I do have good visibility there. All the clouds are kind of in a line here as well, so I'm feeling comfortable with that. Between Fallston and Chambersburg, there is a small set of mountains. If you're flying too close to those, you kind of get a little bit of mountain turbulence, mountain waves. And the way you think about that is, imagine that you're flying through a fluid, which you are. Air is a fluid. If you imagine a stream, where there's a rock, the stream's going to kind of go around it, and it's going to tumble, and it's going to make all kinds of, turbulence in the water. That's kind of the same deal here. The wind is moving across the face of the earth. It runs into a mountain or even a tree in some cases if you're, near an airport and you're kind of close to the ground. Sometimes there's a little bit of turbulence that happens. Just because of a little tree or whatever, just as you're about to touch down. But in this case, it's a mountain range, so if you are flying too low, you'll actually feel those mountain waves as, the fluid of air, the pocket of air that's flying over the top of them.
This is the mall on downwind, 16 Corman.
As those mountain turbulence kind of hits them, and kind of turbulences the air, tumbles the air, and then it gets pretty bumpy sometimes going over these little mountains. I've never flown anywhere where there's big mountains, so I imagine it's even worse. I'm going to go ahead and climb. I know I filed for 4,500, but I'd rather get over the top of these mountains a little bit more, or the clouds a little bit more. So the route of this flight actually takes me directly over Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The famous Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln.
Gettysburg Regional, 77 Whiskey, turning left crosswind and then left base, or left downwind for 27, or 24, Gettysburg.
Probably about, I don't know, 12 miles or something. Probably more than that, probably 20 miles from Gettysburg. Says that I'm still 43 miles from Chambersburg, and Gettysburg's most of the way there.
Gettysburg Regional, 77 Whiskey, ready to turn base and final for touch and go, Gettysburg.
So I'm coming up on 6,000 feet here, trying to climb up to 6,500. And tell the airplane's beginning to get a little bit anemic. As the air thins, it makes it more difficult for it to climb. And I was climbing previously at around 800 feet per minute. Here I am now climbing at about 400 feet per minute. As you get closer, the ceiling on this airplane is 10,000 feet, meaning it's not designed to fly any higher than that. I'm sure people have done it, but I never have. In fact, this may be actually the highest I've ever flown this airplane. I usually, 5,500 is about as high as I've ever gone in it, I think. Definitely see the mountain range ahead of me. And like it's clear just on the other side of that as well, so I'll start descending as soon as I get past these clouds here.
Greenwood Lake traffic 9563 Alpha. We are 4 miles northwest at 2,500, circling for the 45, runway 24, Greenwood Lake.
Alright, I've reached 6,500. That's the highest I've ever been.
Final 34.
The highest I've ever been in an airplane that I've actually been at the controls of, so that's pretty cool.
Gettysburg Regional, 377 Whiskey gyrocopter getting ready to turn base and final for runway 24, Gettysburg Regional.
There appears to be a small aircraft flying at 4,000 feet. They're about 2,000 feet below me. And the beauties of modern technology. I have a little thing called ADS-B. Oh, there he is, I see it. Looks like a 172, a little Skyhawk. It's flying pretty close to the clouds there.
Full stop, Gettysburg.
Probably on an IFR flight plan, is my guess. Shouldn't be flying that close if he's VFR.
Valley traffic, 844 Tango Whiskey, 2 miles to the west, and going to be entering a left.
Gettysburg traffic, Columbia is turning base 24, full stop, Gettysburg.
Greenwood Lake traffic, 956 Hawk entering the downwind for runway 24, going to be forming a power off 180 for 24, Greenwood Lake.
Gettysburg traffic, Columbia turning final 24, full stop, Gettysburg.
Gonna go ahead and descend.
Butter Valley traffic, 844 Tango Whiskey is final for runway 34, Butter Valley.
I'm not descending too sharply once I cross the mountains here. It's kind of on a... not descending too quickly, you know. I do about 300 feet a minute.
Is base runway 24, then a power up 180 for 24, Greenwood Lake.
I'll have another 30 miles to go.
Base leg 16. Gettysburg traffic, Columbia is going around 24, Gettysburg.
Pretty smooth there, so I can actually speed it up and descend at the same time. I'll just set my trim down a little bit. Continue to descend. And my airspeed right now is about 102 knots, something like that. I normally fly around 90, so since I have the altitude and I need to burn it, I might as well make my trip a little bit faster at the same time.
Gettysburg traffic, Columbia is turning crosswind 24 Gettysburg.
Like I'm about 10 miles from Gettysburg right now. When you're flying VFR, that's visual flight rules. A lot more open to do what you want to do because you're not under the commanding hand of air traffic control. You kind of go where you want, up to a certain altitude. I think it's 17,999 feet, I believe is where it ends, but obviously this airplane only goes up to about 10,000, so I'm well within VFR rules here. Got to stay out of airspace I'm not supposed to go into, so anything that's controlled airspace, it's Class Delta, Class Charlie, Class Bravo. I can fly through Class Echo, which is where I am right now. And if I'm kind of close to the ground, I'm probably flying in Class Golf, which is kind of uncontrolled airspace. You can kind of go wherever you want. Echo is sort of uncontrolled as well, meaning that if you're flying in an IFR flight plan, ATC is going to tell you where to go, and you have to stay within Echo, Delta, Charlie, or Bravo airspace. There is also Class Alpha, which is way up in the sky. That's for the big airliners and stuff.
Columbia, turning base 24 Gettysburg.
Turning downwind, runway 24, Greenwood Lake.
So I'm currently, like I said, flying VFR, visual flight rules. I'm not, I don't have to check in with ATC or anything like that, but I do file a flight plan, and I did file a flight plan from Fallston up to Chambersburg, and the reason that I do that is just in case there's some kind of an emergency and I need to land off airport someplace, they have some idea of where to come looking for me. As long as I stay pretty close to my flight path, they're likely to find me. And since I'm flying over a fairly populated area, the whole East Coast is fairly populated, I'm very likely to be found. You know, probably if I did have an engine out and I had a crash landing someplace here or an emergency landing, I'm likely to be seen by somebody who's going to say, hey, there's an airplane that just came down over here, and, you know, call 911 or something like that. This aircraft's actually, it's equipped with an ELT, an emergency locator transmitter, and it's set to go off if there's a certain number of G's against it. So you can actually set it off if you pull on the yoke really, really hard, but it's meant to go off if you have some kind of an accident, you know, where you hit the ground hard. You can set it off automatically, and then it broadcasts your location to give emergency personnel an idea where you are.
Greenwood 1.
Greenwood Lake 563 Alpha, turning base, runway 24, Greenwood Lake.
Greenwood 1 has insight.
I'm flying over Gettysburg now, not the airport, but the town. I can see some of the monuments down there. I've never really toured Gettysburg. It's only about an hour and a half drive from my house. One of these days maybe I should do that, get some more information, but I recognize a few of the, you know, when we drive through there, like I said, my wife grew up in Chambersburg, so occasionally we'll go up and visit family, and we'll drive right through Gettysburg on the way a lot of times. I recognize some of the sites that I'm looking at, some of the monuments down there, but I don't know what they are or what they mean. Like a bunch of farm fields from the air with little, you know, monuments and structures down there that mean something. that 4,500 feet is a good altitude to fly over these mountains at. So going back to that discussion about the different flight levels when you're flying VFR, I mentioned that if you're on an eastbound course, 0 to 179, you fly at odd thousands plus 500 feet, and if you're flying in a western area, so 180 to 359, it's evens plus 500. Even thousands plus 500. That only counts starting at 3,500 feet. So if you're flying below 3,500, you can kind of fly at whatever level you want. So on the way home, I'm probably going to fly under these clouds rather than over them, and probably 1,500 feet or something like that, just so that I'm clear of the clouds. I'm not going to have as much time to climb as I did on the way here. So I'll climb up high enough to get over these mountains, and I'll descend to go underneath the clouds that I just flew over a minute ago. I'm starting to feel the airplane squirm around a little bit. Like I mentioned, it's probably some mountain waves. We get closer to these mountains, it'll probably get a little bit worse, and then it'll be fine. I've got plenty of altitude over them today that I shouldn't feel too much of the effect. Alright, well, time to start descending, so I'll pull my carb heat back. Make sure that I don't have any carb icing as I descend. Chambersburg traffic, Cessna 48753 is 9.5 miles to the east, inbound to land, expecting 24, descending through 3,500 feet, Franklin County. there's those bumps. Not too bumpy, but it is a little bit. I've definitely flown through here when it was much more bumpy than this. Franklin County traffic, Cessna 48753 is 4 miles to the west, inbound to land, runway 24, Franklin County.
Gettysburg traffic 04590 Tango 3 east, inbound for landing 24 Gettysburg. Gettysburg traffic 04590 Tango making midfield crosswind 2,500 feet for landing 24 Gettysburg.
Well, if I can read the SOC correctly, it looks like we chose the right runway, runway 24. Looks like it's pretty much right down the runway at this point. Franklin County traffic, Cessna 753 is about to overfly the airfield to pick up a right downwind for runway 24, Franklin County.
Gettysburg traffic 04590 Tango left downwind, runway 24 Gettysburg. Okay.
Yeah, right down the runway. Excellent.
Gettysburg traffic 0.
Franklin County traffic, Cessna 753 is picking up a right downwind, runway 24, Franklin County.
Gettysburg traffic 090 Tango final 24 Gettysburg.
Franklin County traffic helicopter, Trooper 3 is be orbiting for police mission just about 5 miles to the southwest of the airfield at 2000, Franklin County.
Franklin County traffic, Cessna 753 is turning right base 24, Franklin County. Franklin County traffic, Cessna 753, base to final 24, Franklin County.
Chambersburg traffic, TDM 70, so it's about 9 miles.
Traffic not available.
West will be left traffic, runway 06, Gettysburg.
Have a slight quartering crosswind off my left wing.
Ah, you came early.
Mostly right down the runway
down there, nothing. Okay, I'm going to land 6 just because of clearance.
Got a little balloon there at the end, had to give it a little bit of gas. Make sure I didn't fall out of the sky. Franklin County traffic, Cessna 753 is clear of 24, Franklin County.